So this is all pre-content side. There's a lighthouse there because we want to create an attraction process where people are coming to us like a lighthouse. We're drawing them in, not us chasing them. So the first thing is we're going to need to understand keyword research. And if you don't know what keywords are, for example, I'm an investor, we buy houses. We buy houses does, sell my house fast. It's an order of words that when you type it into YouTube or into Google, they know what you're looking for. So if you type in cats in Google, are you going to get articles, images, and videos on dogs, unicorns, and gorillas and other animals, right? Probably not. You're going to get what you type in, because that's the only way they know what you're looking for, right? So the first thing is, we're going to need to use a keyword tool, which I'll show you here in a second how to do this. So we're going to need to find the keyword that we're going to use to pick the title. That's step 2. The title is incredibly important, guys. We're going to go through the title, thumbnail, keyword tagging, description process right now. So what I use to pick keywords is I use a tool called Keywords Everywhere. It is very inexpensive, and what this tool does is it breaks down the search volume of keywords that you would be looking for as far as keywords to use in your videos or in your titles. Now these two, number 2 and 3, TubeBuddy and vidIQ are very similar services like McDonald's and Burger King. They're tracking mechanism, and they're services that basically track your channel, track your views, track your growth rate. It's an analytics system that you guys can use. Very small monthly fees, but I highly recommend that you get at least 1 or 2 of these. Okay? So the first thing is we need to pick the right title. This is incredibly important. If we pick the wrong set of words, people don't know what the video is about. And if we can't trigger curiosity or scarcity, which write that down, curiosity and scarcity create make people want to click the video, right? So we either want to show also a video title that's going to make someone think that they can either increase their income when they see it, decrease their time and leverage their time better, or remove stress or emotion in their business. These are all things that are going to increase the likelihood that people click. So the first thing is we're going to use keywords everywhere. We're going to figure out search volume. So let's say I want to film a video on foreclosure problems, right? I'm going to use keywords everywhere. I'm going to type in the word foreclosure. And it's going to suggest to me all sorts of different variations of that keyword. How to stop a foreclosure, stop a foreclosure fast, all different variations, right? I'm going to pick the highest volume keyword of those suggested keywords and put that inside my title, okay? Now what's going to happen next is we're going to create a thumbnail. And this is one of the biggest mistakes I think people make is they put the same words in their title in the thumbnail. And I have some up there that I did that in and some that I don't do that in. Now you got to think of your pre-optimization side, pre-content side of your business as real estate. Your title is a piece of real estate. Your thumbnail is a piece of real estate, so if they don't like the title, why would you put the same words in the title that didn't trigger curiosity? I mean, in the thumbnail, if it didn't trigger curiosity with the title, if that makes sense. So you always want to have your title and your thumbnail verbiage different. Now what happens is when people look on YouTube, the first thing they're going to see is the thumbnail. The second thing their eyes are going to do is track to the title. The third thing is going to track to the number of views that video has, and then right to the direct side of it, how long ago the video is posted, and then the percentage of people that like the video versus not. And that all happens within a millisecond. So the very thing that you need to understand, the first thing about thumbnails is to get people to notice them in a very distracting environment where there's all sorts of thumbnails being put up in front of you, is you need to create contrast. So one thing you can see up here, around the edges, I have a border like a picture frame. This is called framing. What this does is it breaks the contrast of the eye when people are scrolling through the feed, looking at all the impressions. And an impression is when YouTube shows one of your thumbnails. So you can see this kind of like right here, the yellow outline. When it's scrolling through, look at that bottom one, 7 ways to find cheap deals. That blue contrast stands out. So we're trying to create contrast. The other thing we're trying to do is use bright colors. Think about what catches your attention in nature. If you go out in the woods, are you going to get your attention caught by a blackbird or a brown bird more than a blue jay or a cardinal, right? So we want to use bright colors. We want to use big, strong, big, thick writing because a lot of people are searching off mobile and they're not going to see it. And we don't want to overly, you don't want to put too much on the thumbnail because it makes it too noisy, if that makes sense. Okay? Now, the third step is we're going to have to go in the back office, and this is incredibly important, guys, when it comes to how YouTube knows how to promote your video in front of who they're going to promote it in front of. So you can see right here, the keyword tags, these are going to be sub-variations of the keywords that we search when we use the keyword tools. So we had the main title, like foreclosure, whatever it is. Now we're going to have sub-variations. This tagging section right here in the back office of YouTube gives you about 500 characters. You want to use the entire space. These are going to be all sub-variations of the main keyword that we have. We're going to fill this tagging section up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the tags that we have in our tagging section and we're going to write a description about the video where we're going to plug these tags into the description. Now, why that's the case is because YouTube's algorithm is going to be reading this with a keyword crawler, essentially, and they're going to pick up these main keywords. That's how they know to put your videos in front of people for this video, from hard money lenders, or people looking for videos about hard money lenders, and not for people looking for videos about how to cook a cake, if that makes sense. Because if you don't do this, YouTube has no idea what your video is about. Okay. Okay. So just a quick recap on how that process works, guys. You're going to use keywords everywhere first. Pull your keywords. Make your main title is the biggest keyword search volume, or the biggest keyword that has the highest search volume. Then take the sub-variation of those keywords, make those your tags, and then write your description with those tags in it, and that's how to properly optimize a YouTube video. Now let's talk about the content process here real quick. So this is now once the video is being played, what's actually happening. We're not going to go into lighting and audio and all that stuff, guys. We're going to talk about the main functionality of the system. So the first thing is we're going to talk about intros here. And I want to point this out because one of the biggest mistakes I see on the internet right now with YouTube is people are using very long intro videos. Now we're going to talk about watch time here in a second, and watch time is one of the most important triggers that YouTube has to know if that video should be promoted in front of other viewers. And if you're using a long video intro, like a 30-second collage intro, and it's all about you and pictures of you and all these different events in this, people that have already seen your video one time, do you think they want to watch it again? So they're going to skip over that, right? And it's going to cut into your watch time, or they're going to click off. So you want to use probably a 5 to 7 second at longest intro, which is that beginning intro that you guys have. Think about like a famous TV show like Friends or Full House or something. You can remember what happens at the beginning. Okay. Now you also want to use what's called a hook. So a hook is something that's going to hold that person on the channel, just like a fish hook is going to hold a fish on your line until at least 50% of the video when we're talking about the algorithm of watch time. Because you want to say something like, hey guys, you know, we're going to give you a fire video here. There's 5 talking points I want to talk about. On the 4th one, I'm going to tell you something secret that I've never told anybody else. And on this one tip, I've used this to save $50,000 on one deal, or whatever it is, right? You're setting the expectation of future value in the video. It's going to hopefully entice them to stay to that point in the video to get past 50% watch time so they don't click off too soon, hurting your algorithm rankings, if that makes sense. Okay. Now, the calls to action. This is coming into actually building the business around what you're doing. And I'm going to give you different types of ways that you can call to action and redirect the attention once people come to the platform, how you drive this off into actually creating a business. So the first one let's talk about is cards. So if you look up here in the top right, you see this little banner that pops up. Now it's not there during the video, it's going to pop up, and you can set this at any second through at the video. Say it's like a 10-minute video, I could run a card at 1 minute 11 seconds, 2 minute 45 seconds. Now what happens is, just like in anything, when there's a continuous stream of information, just like right now, some of you guys are going to be daydreaming, some of you guys are going to be paying attention, you're going to go back and forth between your consciousness and paying attention, but when I say something that triggers you, your mind's going to drift off into what's called thought drift. You're processing that information, but you're not hearing what I'm saying, if that makes sense. So the same thing happens right here when the video is going in continuous flow. When that card pops across the top right, it's going to distract them, and it's going to trigger their attention, and if they click it, you can see it's a redirection to where I want them to go. I can send them to another video, I can send them to a course or something I'm selling, I can send them to an EXP webinar, I can send them wherever I want. But what you're trying to do is capture their attention while they're in the video. So card is one way to redirect attention, or as far as a call to action to do business with you. Okay? I'm gonna go back a few here. I'm gonna go back and go for these real quick. So I'm gonna show you the pins in a second, show you descriptions in a second, but I wanna talk about verbal embedding. So verbal is just a call to action where you're speaking it in the video. So you're in the video, hey guys, if you like what I just said, you want to learn more about this, you want to learn more about partnering with us at EXP, go on over to whatever, and you check us out, right? That's just speaking during the video. Now, pop-up is going to be when you see an actual graphic pop up in the middle of the screen. These are going to work better than verbal calls to action. You've seen this probably with my partner, Mike Sherrard. You know he's got the pop-up logos. When they pop up, what does this do? Once again, it redirects attention because they're focused on the video. Then it pops up, distracts attention, curiosity picks up, they click that, and it redirects them to where we want to go. Now we've captured the attention for business purposes, not just them watching our video. If that makes sense. And then the last one we're going to talk about here in a second is the outro video. So we're going to catch up here real quick. So we're going to go into post content here, which is everything that's happening after primarily the videos being watched, how we're driving them to potential business opportunities, retargeting systems, email sequences, Facebook groups, and mastermind systems. This is how we're going to redirect them. So the first one would be the outro video. This is going to pop up, and what you want to do is you want to set your video that's coming up in this outro video if you have a lot of different types of videos on your channel, one being of like kind. So for example, my channel is about investing. I have how to raise money, how to flip houses, how to buy rentals. If I put a rental video out, do I want to have a different type of strategy come up as the outro video, or do I want to have another video about rental properties, right? I want to have some like kind because the person that just watched my previous video is more inclined to watch this next video if it's similar to it, if that makes sense, which is going to increase your viewership. And the more people that watch in a sequential order of your channel, meaning binge watching, they know that that channel is popular and they're going to promote you more. Okay. Now, here's another section where you can leave a redirection or call to action. Now, you can't really see it here, but right where I have that little investor army one says any of the reasons you can think, above it you see the little pin, like you put a pin into like a corkboard or something like that. There is a section at the top of your comment thread where you can pin your own comment, meaning you hold it in a position. No matter how many people comment on the video, you could have 1,000 views, or 1,000 comments, your comment is going to be still held right there at the top. This is a redirection. You can send them wherever you want, but it's also something you can do to trigger people in the comment thread, because one of the biggest algorithms rankings is if you see the biggest viewed videos, they also have the biggest comment thread. Because if people are going back in the comment thread, it shows that there's enough emotion involved with that video that people want to comment on it, and then sometimes people get invites in the comment thread and it drives the comment thread deep, and that's what they're going to do to push that video out, because YouTube's going to say, wow, this video is enticing for a lot of people to get engaged on, let's put it in front of more people to see if they want to engage upon it too, if that makes sense. But you want to use this pin right here and ask a question that's going to trigger someone to respond to it, probably a controversial question or something like that, that people are going to get into kind of a back and forth in the comment thread, okay? Now, when it comes to playlists, this is incredibly important. A lot of people don't use playlists. And playlists are pre-planned, sequentially ordered videos of like kind, similar to what we're talking about now. Whereas let's say you have a video on our channel with like 100 videos, and it's broken down with like 6 main subtopics of videos. You don't want to just have random videos. You want to have the same type of videos in each type of playlist. So you can see I have one on Airbnb, one on owner financing, one on passive income. The reason why you do this is like what I was just saying, so that when they get done with the first one, what the playlist does is it's going to suggest one of your videos next instead of one of your competitors' videos. So if you guys are not using playlists, what's going to happen is at the end of your video, they could suggest one of your competitors' videos, right? Maybe from eXp, maybe from a different brokerage. How to avoid that? How to make sure they're going to promote one of your videos? Put your videos in a playlist, and then how to increase the likelihood that they watch that next video is make it of like kind compared to the one that you have at the moment. Okay. Now let's go into the algorithm here real quick. We're covering a lot, guys, but we're trying to get all in here. So let's talk about some algorithm triggers. This is one of the most important ones. It's called post-launch velocity. A post-launch velocity is a metric tracking the acceleration of the video once it's posted. So let's say that I have a video that's identical to Jesse's video. And Jesse has 1,000 people on his channel, and I have 1,000 people on my channel. We both post that video at the same time. In the first hour, Jesse's video gets 500 views, and mine gets 5 views. What does that tell you to? As a business owner, which one would you promote? They're going to check the acceleration of that video to make sure, because if it's growing fast, they know that these videos are popular, they're going to promote your channel and the video. So how are you going to increase that launch velocity? The first one is, if you guys have built an email list, send an email blast out letting everybody know. Hey Jesse, guess what? I have a rockstar video coming out here. It's going to be on what you just basically want to know about, right? So we're going to let our entire email list know that coming in an hour, there's a video that's being posted. So when that video posts, their attention is, we caught their attention, they're more likely to click that video right after when it's launched, if that makes sense. Also on your social media. Post on your social media. Let people know. Post on your IG, post on TikTok, Facebook, every other platform. Hey, we have our video coming out today at 6. You're trying to set the expectation to get more people there to view it directly after when it's posted, because it's time sensitive. They're tracking this metric. Another thing you can do is you can condition your audience through set times. This is what television did before we had TiVo and all this stuff, right? Think about, you had to know exactly when your favorite television show was, exactly at what time, and when it came out. A lot of you are probably sitting there right when it went out, right? If that makes sense. So if you let your audience know, every week we post videos Monday at 9, Friday at 9, you're conditioning your audience, and if they really like the content, they're going to be there right at 9, meaning when that video posts, they're going to watch it, increasing that post-launch velocity, right? And the last one is, you hear about subscribe to the channel, you need to make sure you say subscribe to the channel in your call to action, but click that notification bell. So there's a little notification bell. If they do not click this, even though they're subscribed to your channel, when you post the video, it does not notify them. But if they hit the subscribe bell and the notification, or the subscribe button and the notification bell, what happens is once you post a video, it's gonna send them an email, it's gonna notify them, hey, you just posted this video, it's gonna pop up, and if they're not busy at the time, you're increasing the likelihood that they're gonna watch that video at that moment. So these are all things that can increase your post-launch velocity. Okay, now let's talk about click-through rates. So this is incredibly important as well. So a click-through rate is a relationship between how many times your thumbnails or videos have been flashed in front of a consumer versus how many times they click it in a relationship to create a percentage. Okay, so these right here would be 8 impressions. You can see my partner up there, Mike. That's 1 impression. When they flash your video in front of someone, that counts as 1. Now let's say they showed his impression 20 times to 20 different people, and one of them clicked that. 1 divided into 20 is 5%. That's basically the minimum metric that you guys want to have to be promoted by the platform. You want to have at least a 5% of click-through rate. The way you increase your click-through rate, better, more attractive thumbnails, more engaging titles that create higher scarcity or curiosity for the person clicking them. So you're trying to create a high click-through rate. Once you do this, YouTube's going to say these videos are more popular than the ones with lower click-through rates, and they're going to start promoting your videos. Now you have to understand, YouTube's job is to create income through selling advertising. So their job is to keep people on the platform, and if you have bad content, people are leaving the platform. So the only way they know if people are engaged or like your content is to track these different metrics, because they're not sitting there watching your videos, if that makes sense. Okay. Now this is the last one I want to go over, guys, which is watch time. So you need to have at least 50% watch time to have a video being promoted. So let's say I post a video that's 10 minutes long, and Jesse posts a video that's 10 minutes long. Same thing in every way, almost identical. But Jesse's video, they're watching 9 minutes of that video. My video, they're watching 1 minute of that video. If you are a business owner and you're looking at 2 videos to promote in front of your audience or in front of your clients, which one would you promote?